Hey everyone, back again. Welcome back to yet again another video review. This time, everyone, we're going to be finally taking a look at the much anticipated film of the year, which has been, oh my god, it's just been astonishingly amazing and whatnot. We're going to be finally taking a look at Transformers 1, the film, finally. This is, oh my god, amazing and pretty much outstanding. Oh yeah, so before I get into the video, I just want to emphasize there's major spoilers right off the bat. So if you haven't seen the film by the time this is out or whatnot, then you might want to, this is your warning to pause the video, go see Transformers 1, and come back to this video, and 3, 2, 1, there we go. Okay, so here we go. Basically, it's basically an origin story. We see Orion Pax, trying to figure out the mystery of the Matrix leadership, why, this, that, and the other thing. He is intercepted by two of the High Guard. He's able to escape back to the mines, where we're introduced to D16, and D16, of course, is Megatron, as we know, and Orion Pax Optimus Prime. Basically, D16 is just, he's paying his dues, following the code, all that such. Elita 1. Leads them to a section to be blasted for energon, for mining and such, during which Wheeljack, who, keep in mind, he causes a collapse of the mine. Jazz is caught in the crossfire, but Orion Pax breaks protocol, saves him. Darkwing immediately demotes Elita 1 to waste management. Not before Orion Pax flips him off, and then Darkwing just, yeah, it's so funny. He's gonna punch Orion, then D16 punches him for him, and then D16 gets punched in the face anyway. So, but basically, then the Icon 5000 shows up. That basically, this is where we're introduced to Sentinel Prime, also known as the False Prime. I'll explain why, and of course this is a tribute to, basically a combination of his animated self and his Dark of the Moon self. And I'll explain why as we go along. So basically, Sentinel Prime, he's, commander of Cybertron, and he's on a mission to find the Matrix of Leadership, which has apparently been lost, but anyway, so the race happens. Orion Pax and D16 enter the race via jetpacks. They almost die. They almost win. And then Darkwing gets so angry, he pretty much demotes them to waste management with no hesitation. Yeah, Darkwing is quite the... Now, he does get his comeuppance near the end of the film, as we go along. This is where B-127, Bumblebee shows up, or Badassatron shows up. So yeah, sorry, that was my bad Keegan-Michael Key there. But anyway, B-127 Bumblebee is funny, talkative, and hilarious. We're introduced to his mates, one of them is Steve, not Steve Harvey, who dies by beheaded. And it was quite funny, hilarious. But it turns out that there's a clue from Alpha Trion. And Alpha Trion, who's still alive to this point, it's a bit of an SOS message about the Matrix and about the Energon and all that such. So basically, Orion Pax makes it a mission to go find the Matrix and have the Matrix being presented to Sentinel Prime. However, we find out, then and there, that's not totally the case. Sentinel Prime has actually, like no joke, he's pretty much a deceiver and a murderous Prime. He pretty much outright murders the 13 Primes in exchange for the Matrix of Leadership, for the quintessence, like the quintessence, basically. We see this via flashback, and Zeta Prime, who was the last holder of the Matrix, he pretty much he gets the Matrix, but then it vanishes into sand, much like to Sentinel Prime's Fury. So he makes it a mission to find the Matrix no matter what. And pretty much, what happens, Sentinel Prime and Arachnid, pretty much they meet up with the High Commander of the Quintessence. They arrive on a ship. But while that's going on, yes, we see that Orion Pax and the gang, they pretty much go on a waste disposal train and they're stranded after the train derails, and then they pretty much have to walk the rest of the way to the cave where they meet Alpha Trion. And it's quite hilarious. But the thing is, Alpha Trion actually survived, the murders of the 13 Primes. Megatronus Prime, who was D16's inspiration, we see his head. Like, we see his head decapitated, because that's how Sentinel Prime killed Megatronus. And Sentinel pretty much blasted everybody else. Like, just like boom, boom, boom. And I was like, oh my god, Sentinel Prime, you really are cold-blooded. And it continues to be that way, because pretty much, like, and I know I might be missing some details and such, but we'll get to that as we go along. But here's the thing. Alpha Trion, because that's another thing. Upon creation, Sentinel Prime actually has removed everyone's transformation cog, because that's, you can't transform without a transformation cog. So pretty much, Alpha Trion utilizes the cogs of Zeta Prime, Onyx, and Micronus, I think, and gives them to Bumblebee, D16, and Orion Pax. And so they pretty much get their cogs. This is at that moment where Arachnid is summoned. She's sent to go and take down and capture, like, the rogue, miners and such. But Arachnid ends up capturing Alpha Trion. Not before the Vehicons are terminated on sight. And pretty much, they figure out the transformation. They figure it out on the spot. They actually bump into the High Guard. Well, they're captured by the High Guard, led by Starscream, of course, who, eventually will be the second in command to Megatron. But the thing is, D16 actually challenges Starscream, chokes him, is about to blow him up with his fusion cannon, but then it's ultimately, okay, they have to, work together to stop Sentinel Prime. So they do, but not before Arachnid pretty much destroys the base, captures D16 and Bumblebee, and pretty much everyone else that they can, but Orion Pax and Alita are buried in Rumble. And essentially, I find it hilarious. Shockwave was, he pretty much was the laughing stock of the whole High Guard thing. It was so hilarious. Because I could understand why Alita was so tense and physical. Like, she was punching rocks, punching Shockwave, punching the air, punching, Arachnid. Because, yeah, Alita does fight Arachnid, but we'll get to that. The thing is, they form alliances. They head back to Icon, but Sentinel Prime ends up executing Alpha Trion on the spot. And with his... And it's interesting, Sentinel Prime his blade is similar to his Dark of the Moon counterpart, the whole Thanos, design sort of thing. And the color scheme's really animated design. A really nice little touch. So nice little workaround. It was pretty neat. But the thing is, when Sentinel Prime killed Megatronus, Sentinel Prime took Megatronus' transformation cog, much to the insult and fury of D16. One of the cool things that Orion Pax did get for D16 was a Decepticon emblem, or the emblem of Megatronus. And pretty much it was plastered on his shoulder, but Sentinel Prime ends up imprinting the sticker / emblem on D16's chest. Of course, he's about to get shot in the face by Sentinel Prime, but he, thanks to Alita 1 and, diverting the train, because the trains play a big part in this, the Cybertronian trains. They pretty much, crashes into the High Council building. Sentinel Prime's buried under rubble, and that's when D16 fights Sentinel Prime to the death, which was impressive and whatnot. And then, of course, D16's about to execute Sentinel Prime, but then Orion Pax, he's because actually, before that, Arachnid, because of course she records everything and whatnot, Alpha Trion gives some vital information to prove Sentinel Prime is the traitor, not the true loyal Prime. Thing is, that when Arachnid like pretty much destroyed the High Guard base, the memory chip also gets destroyed in the process. But what Elita 1 does after she fights Arachnid, she pretty much gets into her memory bank and records everything that Sentinel Prime has done. It's shown on the big screens, shown in the mine shafts. Everyone gets so angry and upset. And pretty much D16 takes matters in his hands. Orion Pax tries to stop D16, but he ends up getting shot by D16 unintentionally, inadvertently. And then that's when D16 finally snaps. He actually, he's like, I'm done saving you. He literally lets go of Orion Pax as he falls to his demise in the pits of Cybertron. But that's not where Orion Pax thankfully is saved by the Primes. Sorry. And others. So what happens is, while Orion Pax, actually he's granted the Matrix, becomes Optimus Prime, D16 literally fends off like what's remaining of Sentinel's like defenses and then destroys Sentinel Prime, literally tearing him in half. Like, oh my god, I was like, and it was like, whoo, god. And I thought Optimus Prime executing Sentinel was bad, but that was just, and I can understand why. I can understand why D16 did it the way he did it. The way Sentinel Prime went out, the way that, he just absolutely got, like, literally torn apart. And then he pretty much, oh, high and mighty, rise up kind of thing D16 does. He slots out T-Cons, putting Megatronus' T-Cog in his body. He ends up becoming Megatron, that kind of thing. And that's when, once Optimus Prime summons himself from the heavens, Elita 1 and Bumblebee actually try to stop Megatron, but they're no match. But Prime actually battles Megatron. It was quite interesting, the whole, utilizing their vehicle modes and, few fist fights, and then actually, using the power of the Matrix, he summons his Energon Axe. Pretty neat. It has that Prime Star Saber effect. He actually slices Megatron's fusion cannon clean in half. And that's pretty much when, by the end of the film, Megatron, the High Guard, they're all banished from Iacon. They pretty much leave Iacon. They're banished to Kaon kind of thing. Much to the, the heartbreak and the disappointment of Optimus Prime. But then, of course, he realizes, oh, he's the, new Prime now, the last Prime. And pretty much by the end of it, everyone gets promoted. Everything's back to normal. Oh, forgot to mention, Darkwing, he does give a final order kind of thing, but then Orion/Optimus punches Darkwing in the face, knocking him out. And then, kadoink, lottery machine, Darkwing is dealt with. So that was pretty much, and this was all prior to the whole final battle thing. And then by the end of it, Optimus gets pretty much everybody's T-Cods back, and pretty much the Autobots are formed, and their ultimate goal is to stop the Quintessons or the Quintessons from doing any further harm to Cybertron. But there are two post-credit scenes of, Bumblebee shows off his knife hands and kills Steve and other, I think it was something of Tron or whatnot. And then we see, at the very, very end, we see the Decepticons being formed by Megatron, as they worship Megatron to win. And that's pretty much the end of Transformers 1. It was such an awesome film. It really was so fun. Really loved character development. Loved seeing Orion Pax and D16's little relationship, and it was so brief and really, like, for the hour and 45 minutes, it was so amazing. Really was. Bumblebee was hilarious. Really hilarious. Funny and whatnot. I really thought he was going to get his voice box torn out in the final battle, but now D16 did it to Starscream, but it kind of altered his voice box, but it didn't like permanently damage it. So, as evident in the final battle, from what I heard, Elita was so amazing. Like, she was like no nonsense, follow to the law kind of thing, and I can understand why. It really was incredible. And the whole thing, like, between him and Orion Pax was pretty funny and whatnot. I forgot to mention about Bumblebee, this whole badass Tron thing. It was like, did he just Did Bumblebee come up with that himself, or did did Steve and the other? I don't know. But I do know this: Sentinel Prime. I had a feeling he was going to be a huge part in it, but him being the main villain, all along again, like in Dark of the Moon. I mean, that was wow. And I really, he pretty much he's all high and mighty and whatnot. It's just now. Of course, at the time of recording, his studio series figure was shown. Now, of course, he had a battle mode, which was evident a few times. It was just him flying and has a battle mask kind of thing. Now, he does transform into a jet. He never transformed into the film, but still, it was, design was nice. All animated, color scheme, Dark of the Moon weaponry, and hand blasters and whatnot. So there's that. And the whole, evolution and growth of, Alita, Bumblebee, and Optimus and D16 were quite amazing. We did see the 13 Primes, though in hologram and a bit in life form kind of thing. I mean, wow. But I'm glad Sentinel Prime, was dealt with. He deserved a fate worse than death itself. I'm sorry. He murdered the 13 Primes. And he calls himself a Prime. That's a shame. Anyway, Arachnid played a huge part. She was she had the full, creepy Atmos teeth to her, and she did have her Transformers Prime sort of vehicle mode with futuristic helicopter kind of thing. The Ultra modes for everyone were so amazing. Because I know Ironhide, Jazz, even RC were in the forefront of this movie, a bit. Seeing the Icon 5000 was great. I doubt that's going to happen now under Prime's, leadership. You never know. Because I think, honestly, and it's great. The Matrix, was recovered. It reformed when Orion was being revived into Optimus. Now, of course, I've seen a lot of... Now, is Megatron D16 redeemable? It could potentially happen. Because, of course, he felt betrayed. Sentinel Prime was his idol. Megatronus was his big inspiration. I have a feeling that at some point we're going to see some sort of Armada / Transformers Prime redemption arc for Megatron, where he sacrificed himself, or he goes all out, battling the the Quintessons if there's a sequel. There could be a sequel, never know. But the whole thing, the final battle was amazing with between Alita, Optimus, and Bumblebee. But my goodness, and the fact, literally, because now he has his normal fusion cannon, then he has his Megatronus inspirational fusion cannon, but that cannon was sliced in the final battle. But the fact that Megatronus literally grabbed Alita's chest, oh my god, I'm thinking to myself, sorry, personal space? Anyway. But of course, it's Transformers. What more could I do? But anyway. So, and the whole thing, the whole deal with Energon and the Quintessons are essentially draining Cybertron of Energon kind of thing. I really am optimistic with the potential sequel that could happen. And this was an excellent film celebrating the 40th anniversary of Transformers. This was by far amazing. It really was. And truly was inspirational to say the least. So all in all, I highly recommend checking out this film. You can find it and watch it and whatnot. You won't be disappointed by it. It's great. It's incredible. And I'm just full of amazement and happiness to see, this amazing masterpiece, to say the least. So it really was awesome in many ways possible. So anyways, guys, that is my review of Transformers 1, the film. And yes, you'll see the upcoming reviews of the studio series figures of Prime, Megatron, B, Alita, and Sentinel Prime when they come out. Just never know. We'll probably get some more figures of them. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, Darkwing was a bit of a pain in the ass, and I really liked the Karma King to collect his debt in the final battle. So there's that. I just wanted to say that right now. I mean, huge respect to the character, but of course, Anyway, so that's my review of Transformers 1. I'll see you all very soon. I'll be back soon as possible with the next video. And yeah, so take care, everyone. See you soon. Good day. And I'll schedule later. Bye-bye.